Oh, there you are. And
What is up?
for some reason, it just shows me and then like nothing of you, and then it records, and then you just like pop up.
Well. Welcome you guys to Manas to Mamas.
Yay!
We're still kind of learning how to do all this, so just bear with us. But I am Julie
And
Marie,
I'm Michelle Monique.
and we are, like the title of our podcast says, we are sisters or manas who are now mamas. We are both moms to little boys.
Yay!
I have one little boy who is 10 months.
And I have two little boys. I have one who's 2.5 now, and one.
So we wanted to just kind of start a podcast and, just put it out there and see what happens. So like I said, my name is Julie Marie. I am in my early 30s and I live in Northern California. I live obviously with my son, who is 10 months old, and my partner, who we've literally known each other forever. I know everyone says that, but like we really have. So that's this episode for the future. But yeah, I am technically I have a job outside of the home. But my son needs constant care right now until we figure out what's going on with his respiratory system. He has been hospitalized and admitted in ER visits, too many to count. So I am currently on extended medical leave while we get him to appointments and specialists and tests and labs and all that not fun stuff. So I am kind of right now living that stay-at-home mom life slash business operations manager for my partner's construction company from home.
Yeah, and I am 29, years young, if you will. But like I said, I have two little boys, and I have the privilege of being a stay-at-home mom. My husband works in the education field, so he goes out, and I stay home to raise these little boys. It's the hardest job I've ever had. I've kind of deep not deep dove, but I've kind of held a lot of little jobs here and there, and I was in the medical field for a very long time. And then we decided to have kids, and childcare is super expensive. So
We're in California, by the way. We're both in
yes,
California. So I'm in Northern California.
and I'm in Southern California. And yeah, once we started looking into, me going back to work, it was just too expensive. And opportunities came up, and so we both agreed that me staying home with the babies was just like the best thing financially, and obviously for my mom heart, leaving was very hard. So I bow down to the moms who go and work, because that is hard. I can't imagine leaving my babies. But um I've known my husband for a while now. We've been together almost 11 years. We'll be together for 11 and in December, and we've been married for going on 4 years now. And we have two little boys, and I have two German Shepherds. So my life involves a lot of baby talk, a lot of puppy, well, not even puppies, because they're still my puppies, puppy commands, um, very little adult interaction. But with that, with the podcast, me and Julie, we talk every day, multiple times a day. So we figured we do this every day. Why not just record this and share it with the world? Let people in on our conversations, our topics, and hopefully we are able to inspire somebody, be there for somebody. The saying, it takes a village to raise kids, I really take that near
That was me.
near and dear to my heart, because it truly does take a village. And whether your village is small, large, non-existent, we hope that one day, as our podcast grows, that you see this as an extension of your village and see Julie and I as part of that, whether it be in person. If you know us, reach out to us, message us, even if it's to vent, even if it's to talk to another adult, or virtually. We're here over social medias, over our podcasts. Hopefully that we're able to just be there for you.
And my little guy is currently causing a ruckus in the living room, so if you hear him, he's in there.
Isaac.
um, yeah, so like Michelle said, we do talk a lot. I think now that I am a mother, because Michelle was a mom before I was, but now that I'm a mother and a mother to a little boy nonetheless, um, we are, I would think, at least, I'm speaking for myself, I don't want to talk to you for you, Michelle, but Michelle really is like literally my best friend. Me and her, my relationship with my sister it's grown to something that I never thought it would be. When I wake up in the morning and the baby wakes up, and once I get like Omar up and ready and out the door for his work day, and kind of get the dogs out, because I also have two dogs. I have a 7.5-year-old Shih Tzu Maltese, and then we just adopted a 3-month-old Dogo Argentine now. She will probably be about 120 pounds. So we'll see how that goes. So once I get like all that going, usually my very first phone call, if it's not to Omar, who's my partner, it is to my sister to see how she did, see how the boys did, all that stuff. So like Michelle said, we figured, why don't we just do something for us, but also for other moms out there, regardless of how you're a mom, right? Did you birth the baby? Did you adopt the baby? Was there a surrogate? Um, are you a baby to a babe? Are you a mom to a baby that's in heaven? Are they earthside? Are you dog moms? However you define the word motherhood and mom, we hope that we can kind of be part of that definition at some point. Really?
That means I love my mom, by the
Yeah.
way.
So we kind of just figured, why don't we just record it? Because I'm sure that if we're having these conversations and struggles and epiphanies, other moms are too, especially given our current climate of everything, right? Like a lot has happened in the last 3 years, the last 4 years. And it's stuff that hasn't been precedented. And in California, like everything is so expensive, like Michelle said. I have a lot of friends who unfortunately have to make that decision between, do I become that independent, career driven woman, or do I start a family and stay home? And some it's one or the other, some it's a combination of both, and my son is screaming his head off. So let's go on. We want to be a part of your extended village. We want to, have that open dialogue. Something that you want to talk about, send it to us. Go ahead and take it the next part, Michelle. I'm going to go check on my son for a quick second.
So our hope is that we could do some kind of topic that either hits home now. We all go through our phases in life, experiences, things you're going through now, later. So our hope is that with our topics that we, like Julie mentioned, um, kind of give you that light of telling you, reassuring you that you're not alone. I know sometimes in motherhood, when you're kind of in the thick of it all, it's so overwhelming that you think like, oh my God, how am I gonna survive this? Whether it be newborn state, whether it be, health complications with your little ones, whether it's just like the stress of trying to reprogram your brain to teach things to these kids different from how you were raised. It's a lot, but we're hoping that you see it as you're not alone. We're in it together. So hopefully, we'll be sharing with you just a little bit about motherhood, womanhood, different topics about things that they don't talk to you about, right? Things you don't learn, whether that be, period talk, the basis of motherhood, the sex part of getting pregnant. They drive it into your brain in high school, like sex equals a baby. But once you act, yeah, Mean Girls, you will get pregnant and die. But you, once you actually go into the trying, you realize how mechanical things really are. So just dealing with that. hitting topics such as changes in your life once you become a parent, whether that be as a mom, your hormones, your mental health, your body physically, your life in general, your relationships with your partner, how those kind of change day to day, relationships with family, relationships with your friends, period talk, anything and anything.
Breastfeeding, formula feeding. Do you start solids or
Yes.
purees? Do you baby lead meat? Like, there's just so much out there that it could be overwhelming. And sometimes you just need someone to just talk about everything. We're not experts, right? My degree is international business and Spanish language. It has nothing to do with childcare or child development.
Mhm.
But this is just our experience, and we are hoping that if you found us on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever you found us, Instagram, TikTok, wherever the hell Michelle has us, because she's in charge of all that side of it. We're hoping that it resonates with you and that you feel like like you're one of the manas to mamas.
Yes.
Um, so a little bit about ourselves. Growing up, we grew up in Southern California, right? We have a youngest sister. Me and Michelle are about 4.5 to 5 years apart, and then there's another like 4.5 to 5 year gap between Michelle and our youngest sister, Alyssa. So between me and Alyssa, it's like almost 9, sometimes 10 years. Um, and because the age gap is it's pretty big, I would say. Like it's not super big. Like my son and my stepsons have a really big. Sorry, I was feeding my kid. They have a really big age gap. So I have a 19 and a half year old stepson and a 16 and a half year old stepson, and then I have my 10-month-old son. But it was a little hard at first. Like when we were younger, like little, yeah, we would like play and swim and stuff. But then I transitioned to teenage years, and I was like, ew, go away. Dealing with my own like middle school, high school drama, whatever. And then I got to college, and that was kind of one time that like our whole world kind of shifted for a little bit. But then Michelle was in that like teenage year, so she was like, "Yeah, fuck you guys and your drama. Like, let me worry about me, my friends, and my little boyfriend or whatever." And playing soccer and tennis, she did it all. So then me and the little one got really close. And then as Michelle transitioned to adulthood, I ended up moving from Southern California to Northern California, and she was in college doing her college thing, her sorority thing. And then Alyssa was the pain in the butt teenager. So we've been there's it's ebbed and flowed. We've been really really close, and then we've been worse enemies at times. But now in this new stage that we're in, like I really do consider her my best friend. She when I have a question about something, like the first time Ezekiel had a really bad diaper rash, she's like, "Oh, put my senna on it. Like I got you. Put my senna." Or I was like, "Michelle, I think he has hand, mouth, foot disease." She's like, "Let me see." "Oh, I don't know if it is." Yeah, like what is it? Or if she needs I've managed to have a really close group of friends here, and we interchange baby material, be it baby clothes, toys, whatever. So some of it is way bigger. And since my nephews are, within 2 years of Ezekiel, we literally share stuff. We ship stuff back and forth. Or when someone comes, they bring a luggage of just clothes to bring or take. So she really is, like I said, she's one of the first people outside of my relationship that I talk to. And we just wanted to, like I said, we hope that the relationship that we have, we can bring you into it and make you guys one of us. You know, Even if it's just a house playing in the background, because truth be told, we're on FaceTime most of the day. And Omar's like, "How are you on the phone all the goddamn time?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm on the phone, but I'm cooking, I'm changing diapers, I'm feeding the baby, I'm washing the dishes, I'm doing laundry." Like, it's just background noise. And then there's something comforting knowing that even though I'm physically here by myself with my son, my sister's
Yeah.
right there. There's someone right there with me that understands when Ezekiel starts to cry, that understands that I am washing dishes and cooking dinner and unloading the groceries and picking up, the baby at the same time. And there's no judgment. That's one thing about this. This is literally no
Mhm.
judgment. We talk, we vent, we let it all out, we cry, we laugh, we stress, we do it all. Um, I mean, what would you do? You have, what do you think that our relationship was growing up, and how has it changed now that we're both moms?
Definitely, I mean, exactly that. With the phases in life, it was always like I was too young to hang out with you and your friends on like that kind of basis. And then I was always too young or too old to be with Alyssa and her friends. So growing up, it was very much that like, well, I'm going through my own phase, like you don't understand, just like any other teenager. And then like you leaving to Northern California as I was like exiting high school slash college, like you just enter this whole another world in college where you feel like you're like unstoppable and like your friends and partying and all that matters more. And definitely when like reality of life hits you that like yeah, some friends like out of all of them, there's literally like four of them that I talk to on a daily basis. But it's just different when it's your sister because, yes, I can talk to them about anything, but only you kind of understand like the family aspect of it all. But also, like I said, I can be on FaceTime and then if my son falls, like I could be like, I'll call you back. And maybe I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Maybe I'll call you back the next day in the evening, but there's no expectation of like, hey, she never messaged me back, or hey, she told me,
Like, fuck that bitch.
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
um,
No, but some people do booty tickles, and they're like, "Ew, you didn't call me.
yeah,
What am I? Just because you had kids? Yeah, my kids are my priority. My kids are always going to come
always,
first.
always,
So I didn't call you back. Too damn bad. My kid was throwing a
exactly.
tantrum. Or like right now,
So,
Ezekiel's in the thick of teething. He is 10 months old, and he is in the thick of teething. Poor pops, and he's had a rough like couple months with medical stuff as it is. But one of my friends, she's like, yeah, she has a child too. He's 6 now, but he was born extremely premature. So she gets it. She's like, girl, I want to just make sure you're okay. And that's kind of what we want to be for you. Like, are you okay? You said you were going to call me back and then you didn't. Are you okay? So let me ask you, are you okay? And actually, this episode, we're hoping to launch Manas to Mamas on Mother's Day in the United States. So
feliz.
happy Mother's Day to you and all of yours. Um, so a little bit more about just kind of our journey to motherhood. So as I mentioned, I have known my partner Omar for literally our whole lives. You know those like novelas, like my sister's neighbor's best friend's dog sitters, blah 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 blah. Like that's kind of how it is. So my okay, ready? Do you need me to draw this out?
I'm all the man.
My grandma's brother married his aunt years ago. Like I think my uncle is like damn near 80 years old. So, um, so we have always been not like in each other's lives, and no, me and him are not related. Okay, let's just get that out
Clear
there.
the
There
air.
is no blood relation, nothing, nothing, nothing. Um, so a couple of years ago, I had to sell my first house that I had in Northern California, and I bought something on my own, completely on my own. And he is a contractor. So I have been very vocal with my family and like really with anyone that if I didn't have a partner by the time I was like 32, 33, I was going to contact a sperm bank to do an anonymous sperm donor and have a baby. Because after a couple of stuff that happened, a couple things that happened to me, first off, I never thought I wanted kids. I was told I would never be able to have kids. So I kind of ingrained it in my mind that I didn't want any. Like if you ask my sisters, my mom, my cousins, my friends, like I was like, oh no, I don't want any kids. Like I'm gonna be the fun Nina. Like I'll have all the dogs, like do all the family things. But then at the end of the day, like here, take your kids.
Yeah.
Um, but then that changed, obviously. So I have been very vocal about like if I don't have anyone, I want to have a baby. And everyone was like, yes, like we want you to have a baby. We want that for you. So and talking, Omar started coming over and like working on my house. And well, first he started coming over looking at places I was looking to buy because I don't know shit about construction. Like, let's be real, I'm not a contractor. So I was like, hey, what do I need to do to get this to be livable or to get this how I want it? So we started hanging out a lot. That's real life right
Ese
there.
good, papas.
Well, he's getting mad because he can't reach the window, but he needs to just push the table. He'll be fine. He is fine. So fast forward He was a secret. No one knew who he was. My sister Michelle, who literally knows everything about me, didn't know. They knew that there was someone because he would whistle on FaceTime, he would bark on FaceTime, he would
And like
meow,
we knew
he
we
would
knew
chirp
who
over.
Omar was.
Yes, but they didn't know that me and Omar that he didn't know that they didn't know that me and Omar were a thing.
We knew Omar and we knew Chiflador, and never in a million years did we think.
Um, so, Omar and I had very serious conversations about me becoming a mom and what that would look like. And we decided to actively do all the things, see all the doctors, all the specialists. Hi. Eat all the things, stop eating these things, doing this, taking that to make that reality or that dream a reality. And I actually found out I was pregnant on my sister and my cuñado's wedding anniversary. So because I taught her everything. Even I didn't tell her who the baby daddy was at the beginning though. Like I called her and said I'm pregnant, and she was super excited. They were super pumped. No one knew. No one knew that it was his. He obviously did, but it was a big secret until let's see. I found out I was pregnant in November, and we didn't tell people that it was his baby until February. So it was a big secret. They would constantly ask and ask and ask, like, who is it? And I'm like, But yeah, now here we are. We have a 10-month-old, otherwise healthy, troublemaking little boy who is thriving. And yeah, I mean, it's something that I never thought I would have the privilege to do, right? To not only get pregnant, but stay pregnant and deliver a full term baby who is thriving. It's really fucking crazy sometimes, but it's all good things. So that's my journey to motherhood. Michelle?
For me, it was a little bit different. My husband and I were very adamant on kind of doing things the right way, if you will. We wanted to go to school, finish college, get married, and then plan our family. And that's exactly what we did. We bought our house, then got married a couple months later, and same. I We decided, hey, let's just try, because if you guys know anything about motherhood, you don't know what your path is gonna be until you are trying, and that kind of leads you into the different paths of it all. But we decided after the wedding, like if it happens, it happens. We'll see where we go from there. We got married in November, and by March, April is when we found out we were pregnant. So it was relatively easy, a smooth transition for us, which I'm lucky and very blessed, because it's not how a lot of people have it. So for us, it was just simple, not too much of a struggle. And my pregnancy was smooth, my delivery was smooth. Because of my age gap with my sisters, I always told Michael, like, hey, I want it to be a lot less. Him and his brothers are like 2 years apart, and I just love that bond that they can kind of do life together in the same phases. Like at one point, I think they were all in high school together. Like I never experienced a school the same with Julie or Alyssa. Like one graduated and the next year the next one started. So I love that they can kind of play soccer together, do life and have the same cliques and friends. And once I became his girlfriend, like the squad is what we call it, like his brothers and his best friends, and like my compadres now, we were just always together and doing stuff. And I never got to experience that with my sisters. So when Leo was 3 months, 4 months, I was like, I don't feel so good. Coffee's not tasting the same. Let me take a pregnancy test.
Let me with piano sticks.
And yeah, let me do that. And I remember being home alone. It was like right after school had gone back after COVID. So I was like by myself with a Leo, and I remember he was on the bed, and I just like peed on the stick, and I was like, I know I wanted them close in age, but like this is close in age. Like
Two under two, y'all.
a little bit past Irish twins, but yeah, they're a year and 2 months apart. And it's
Yeah, one's from December and then one's from February. And then Ezekiel is from
yes.
July. So they're all within 18 months of each other, which I am so excited. Like, I am so thankful to the universe that we get to walk through
Yeah.
this almost at the same time and in real time. I mean, there's pictures of both of us pregnant because we were
Yeah.
pregnant at the same time. Michelle delivered both babies during
Hmm.
peak COVID. So no one was able to be in the room besides my cuñado. I, however, was lucky enough to be able to have people in the room. So of course, Omar and I talked and we said, if it's only one person, it's obviously going to be you. But if it's two, it's going to be you and it's going to be Michelle. Like, Omar was the one that was like, I want Michelle in there. She can be in there. So it was really sweet. And then my mom, we luckily, but when we delivered in our county, I was able to have four support
Hmm.
people in the room with me. So it was Omar, obviously. It was Michelle Monique, and then it was my mom, and then it was my stepson. He was able to be there, and it was really special for him to be there. My other stepson was at Marine Boot Camp, but if not, he would have probably been in there subbing in either with my mom or Michelle, so that he could have also been there for his brother's birth. But my son just realized that he can open the cabinet, so I will be right back.
Yeah, and so for me, it was just a little bit different because, like Julie mentioned, I got pregnant right around, like, we found out we were pregnant when COVID kind of expanded and became this like worldwide actual labeled pandemic. And I remember seeing the pregnancy test and like going to my doctor, and they're like, well, we don't know what's happening, but as of right now, like, it's just gonna be you. And I remember thinking, like, by the time I come back again, like, the world will go back to normal. And it didn't. So for my experience, was normal, but literally it was like I think it was every third appointment was in person, and everything else was like on Zoom or through the phone. Michael couldn't go with me. I think with Leo, he didn't go to anything. And with Diego, he ended up going to like one ultrasound. And it was because it was like a Sunday in the night, so they kind of didn't care, and like, por accidente lo dejaron entrar. But other than that, it was literally like even the day of me giving birth, like, okay, go upstairs. We have to make sure you're in active labor, and then we'll tell you.
And
Yeah,
you're
and then we'll
not
tell you like
positive.
to call him. So literally he would drive me up, leave me, go park the car, and it's like, okay, you can come up now. So for me it was normal. That was my experience, but obviously, COVID and protocols, that's all different
Yeah,
now.
for me, like the day of delivery was very different for me because I actually had to be induced. So like Sunday night, we packed up our bags, and then me, Michelle, and Omar got in the car and drove, and we knew we were coming back with the baby. Like, I was getting induced. There was no way around it. Um, Whereas Michelle, I remember that Friday morning, she was texting me directly like, I don't feel good, but I'm gonna have sushi for dinner, so I have to wait because she wanted her sushi. And then shortly after, like maybe like at 8 or 9 o'clock, my cuñado messaged us saying like, well, I'm taking her in. And then I woke up at like 4:15 because Leo was born like
Yeah,
at 3:45, huh?
3:20.
I woke up at 4:15 ish, and I like FaceTimed. No, I called, and he like ignored my call, but then FaceTime. He felt like scrambled, turned on the light, hid Omar in the corner, and I was like, hey, yeah, she was like, I was like, oh my god, like she's a whole ass mom, like and I'm 500 miles away. Like, I think that was kind of one of the hardest moments for me to be far. Because on top of all that, my mom ended up selling her house and they had to move out of her house like in December. Um, my mom and my youngest sister and my grandma had COVID. Like, it was just insanity. And Leo came 2 weeks early, so I was supposed to go down for Christmas because he was due
Oh
on.
my.
Like, it was just being far. It's one of those moments, like, it is what it is. But I would have given anything to at least be in the vicinity of when she gave birth. And my kid is now
Which
taking out the toaster.
which is
Are you gonna
like
make
different
waffles?
for me to have been given that opportunity to be there with Julie, because obviously it's different when you're the one going through the pain and experiencing it, but like being able to see the birthing experience through that perspective, it was just so special to be like, I know what you're feeling and I'm here to give you the support, but like I can't help you because so it was a very different experience, but honestly, like so privileged and honored to have been chosen to be there and been able to like make it happen and be able to get there on time. I think was like
Yeah, and and like we've said, it literally takes a village because not only did Michelle come, but she had her two little ones, and Leo was a year and a
mhm,
half old, and Diego Lorenz was 5.5 months
yeah.
old, right?
Mhm.
When Ezekiel was born. So my mom, my mom and my grandma and my grandpa stayed at the house the night before, and then they were like playing phone tag. When was my mom going to come, and who was going to take care of the kids? And then my aunt that lives here went to my house to help with the kid. Like it literally took a lot of coordinating, just to make that possible, and it's something that I really treasure because I remember if you've given birth vaginally, my epidural wore off. So I remember mid push, the doctor was like, push the button. And Omar picked up the button. She's like, no, you can't push it. She has to push it. And I was like, what? Fuck you and your button. Like I'm hurting. But I remember the voice. I remember it's Michelle just saying 5 more minutes of pain for a lifetime of happiness, and that's really what it was. She's like, you got this. He's right there. I can see him. Go, go, go. Yeah, she was my hype woman, and out of all of the chaos, because the last couple minutes of delivery was insanity. I ran a fever. The baby's heart rate dropped. Like it was just there. Literally, it felt like there was 50 people in there. Right, there was a whole ass NICU team waiting for him. There was my doctor. There was a student. There was someone else. There was 3 or 4 nurses just for me, plus the baby's team, plus the anesthesiologist because he got called back in after he my medicine, whatever. It was just way too many people. But out of all the chaos, I just remember seeing Omar's face and telling me you have to get him out, and then hearing Michelle's voice, and then my doctor looking at me and saying, "Okay, you ready?" Because she was this calm demeanor, tiny thing, no stress. She's like, "All right, ready? Let's do it. You're having a baby." So it was really fun for me to have that, and I I really wish that there was a way for me to provide that support to Michelle. And, it is what it is. Michelle's done having kids. We're done. On to the next. Um, so let's see. Da, 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 da. Something that we want to do. So the title of this episode, and I have to get my laptop charger because it's probably going to boot me off here. But the title of this episode is Getting Our Pink Back because
Um, so I am in love with TikTok. Surprise, surprise. But on my TikTok For You page one day popped up this blogger, Cassidy, if you guys are familiar with TikTok or her. She's at Just Classically Cassidy. She's a blogger who does a lot of like style inspos, easy hairdos. She does a lot of mom content. She's a military spouse, so just a little bit of everything. But one day, her and her friends from college or high school maybe um got together and they decided to do this like mom matching tattoos, and they came across flamingos. So if you don't know, mom flamingos, they lose their pigment in their skin and feathers, from this bright beautiful pink to very pale pink, sometimes even white, because their body translates all that energy to caring for their young ones and takes it away from them to give it to the babies. So as the babies grow up to become more independent, they slowly get their pink back. And so her and her mom group, they got those matching tattoos to remind themselves that you too will get your pink back. Um, and like I've said before, and I will continue to say, being a mom and raising babies, staying at home with them 24 hours, 7 days a week is the toughest thing I've ever done in my life. Hands down. If I had a respect for mothers before becoming a mom, now bow down to each and every one who has to parent, because it is difficult. And on top of that, mental health that comes with postpartum depression, anxiety, rage, the self-consciousness that is, a woman's brain as it is, plus the changes of, being pregnant, your body. It's just a lot. And I stumbled upon that, and it was always in the back of my head. Like when I would get so tough on myself, I would like, am I doing enough? Am I providing enough? Am I doing enough for myself, for my husband, for my friends? Like, if the kids would get sick, oh, I have to cancel, sorry. Um, and I would just see her in her posts, and obviously she's like modeling and stuff, and I would see her tattoo, and I was like, you know what? That's a reminder that I want to have. Not only when I jump on TikTok and see her there, but I want it on me. I want it on my body as a reminder to myself that I too will get my pink back, and I have to focus on loving myself, getting myself healthy, because a healthy mama is a happy mama. And if you're a happy mom, then you're able to provide to those that you love. You can't fill someone else's cup from an empty cup. So I decided to get myself kind of Cassidy inspired tattoo. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I ended up doing a watercolor flamingo. The mom flamingo is very, very pale pink. And then I got my boys' birth month flowers as part of like their body. Because they're my heart, they're my soul. They are, mi vida entera. Like Grandpa says, mi razón de ser. But just as a reminder to myself that yes, it takes a lot, but to put myself first, because obviously, if I'm healthy and happy, then I can give them the best version of myself. Um, and so, yeah, I ended up getting that done, and honestly, I'm so happy. It's more beautiful than I can ever imagine. And it's just a reminder to myself every day when I'm washing my hands, when I'm changing diapers, changing clothes, changing peed underwear, whatever it is, that I too will get my pink back one day, slowly but surely, but it will come back. Um, and with that being
And this podcast is kind of, it's a step to getting
yes.
your pink back because it's it's hard for sure. Clearly he's destroying the appliance drawer and he just found the glass Tupperware drawer, but it's hard to carve out time without being
Yes.
labeled selfish. It's hard to, this is what you wanted. It's
Or
what you
feeling
signed up for.
guilty
Well, yeah,
too.
but I also think yeah, like, oh, like I should be taking care of my kid. My kid I shouldn't be on here. I could be playing with them. I could be XYZ, whatever. Um, so not only is this podcast, to hopefully be there to support you all, but it's also something for us. It's something that we get to be creative and figure out how to work this damn software and how to edit and how to, do the logos and engage with our community on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, and just kind of have a space for us to be how do you say
Unapologetically.
unapologetically moms now, right? Because like Michelle said, there's so much guilt, there's so much mom bashing, there's so much, and then then you throw in the cultural aspect, and it's a whole nother layer of like crap, literally expectations. It's you should be doing this. ¿Por qué no hicieron eso? Ira, por eso te pasó eso, and blah 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 blah. Like I've already been told that my son got sick because I chose not to baptize him. Like what? But that's just what it is. And having to navigate this space, it could be a lot. So this is our creative outlet. It's our place to share our story, to be ourselves, to be vulnerable, because we are vulnerable with each other anyway, and we want people to know that it's okay. You can be super mom and still break down. You can break down. You can be sad. You can be upset. You can be frustrated. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just don't stay there. And if you find yourself having to stay here, I'm putting on my mental health,
Advocate.
advocate flag. I am very much about mental health. I have been doing therapy for a number of years. I am not ashamed of it. I encourage everyone, me and Michelle, yes, we could be there to support you, but we are not professionals. We are not therapists. We are not counselors, but we are always willing to lend a listening ear. And we hope that this podcast for us becomes our safe, sacred space, and we invite you to it. And this kid is starting to now. He got the tortilla warmer, and he was literally sliding it all over. It's a good thing I cleaned the floors last night. But with that being said, something else that you want to incorporate is a small business shout out. Some of them may be mom owned, some of them may be minority owned, but today's small business shout out is going to be kind of hand in hand with Michelle's tattoo. So, Michelle Monique.
So, Julie has a very special friend who has now become a special friend and mentor to myself. But small business shout out this episode goes out to Benzo Brows in Colton, California. Shout out, love, kisses to Mercedes. She's the founder and CEO of Benzo Brows. Her business is a permanent makeup specialist. She does anything. She does it all. She does it all. She's microblading is what she started off as. She does areola pigmentation tattoos. Her shop now does tattoos, hence my tattoo. They do lip blushing. They're just killing it at this game. Mercedes has been doing it for many, many, many years, and she is the epitome of a Wonder Woman mentor. She believes in bringing everybody up along with her. I am very privileged to be able to take a microblading class with her. Which like we'll get into all of that in another episode as well. But honestly, to this day, it's been about a year since I've taken the course, and I can message her and she'll reply so quick. She's always getting on me about why haven't you started? What's going on? When are you coming to work? And I'm like, I know, I know, I know. I just gotta get myself out of my own head. But Mercedes is killing it. She dedicated blood, sweat, and tears to build her brand to where it is now, opening up her own shop, expanding and sharing her knowledge with so many of us. So honestly, just a privilege to know her and be taught by her is just it warms my heart. Um,
And she does it wholeheartedly.
yes.
Like, no matter who you are, if you've interacted with her, you know that, like, when you talk to her or mentor with her, take a class, like, she cares about you as
Yes.
an individual. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I was going through the thick of, I still kind of am postpartum anxiety given everything that Ezekiel has been through. Um, I remember she messaged me and she's like, look, this is what worked for me. This is what didn't work for me. Try this, if ever you need something. So yeah, like it's nice to have my sister, but just to have this support from someone. I went to high school with Mercedes. That's how I know Mercedes. And she did my brows a couple years ago and I was due for a touch up, but then COVID hit and then I got my touch up and then shortly after I got pregnant. So I'm due for a touch up. These do have makeup on them for the camera, but she, and every time that I go into the shop, you would think that we talk every single day because she's just so welcoming and warm-hearted and she cares about you as an individual and what can she do to make your life better. And for me, it's having her just be part of my extended village.
Exactly. And now she's been able to expand at her shop. So also one of my classmates that I took the program with, she is now working for Mercedes at Benzo Brows, and she's the one that did my tattoo. So shout out Joanna, you are doing amazing out there. So if you guys need any kind of permanent makeup or tattoos, they give you tea before your tattoo, and they have snacks. Sometimes they bring or Mercedes will bring her little dog over. It's just a awesome place. It's a place of comfort. It's a safe space. But we will be able to link her information, their page, so you guys could check it out. Like we said, we don't gain anything from it, but being able to shout them out, because building something from the ground up takes a lot. And being able to do that while raising a family, being a partner, run. I can only imagine how much work and dedication that takes. So, Mercedes, I love you. Thank you for being a boss ass bitch. And thank you for uplifting everyone that comes along and crosses your path because you literally are the epitome of a fucking badass. And I love you. And Joanna, keep doing what you're doing because under Mercedes's wings, I just love you ladies so much, so much, so much. And so yeah, every episode we want to be able to shout a small business out and give them a little bit more exposure because running a small business is
It's a
kudos to
lot of fucking
you.
work.
And yeah, we might not gain anything from it, but if we can support them in one little way that sends one more person to view their page, to like a post, to maybe see, maybe they'll go themselves to get a tattoo or permanent makeup. Hi Zeke. One more view to their
My
page
little
means the world to
comedian.
them. So, if you have a small business or know of your favorite small businesses, please send them our way so that we can line them up and shout them out as our episodes come out. Ezequiel.
He's just everywhere, dude. But yeah, like I said, we are thankful that you stumbled across our podcast. And if you are Ale, Jesus, or Lucy, our three faithful listeners, thank you. Yeah! Bravo! But we're really excited to kind of see where Manas to Mamas goes. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on the TikTok. I believe this is going up on YouTube. Stay in contact. Let's open that dialogue, and let's not be embarrassed to be moms in every aspect. So
Yes.
we love you guys. Thank you for hanging out for a little bit over 45 minutes. You guys are the bad ass bitches. Don't forget, mamas.
Yes.
Okay.
You will get your pink back.
We love you guys.
Happy
You
Mother's
will get your
Day
pizza.
to everyone in whatever way that you celebrate that today. We love you. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are enough. You will.
You are enough.